obviously, I watched Impact. I purchased a pay-per-view that wasn't a WWE show. So that may have been one of the most shocking things in 2020. Brace yourself, Ryan. And obviously I recorded my review of the show, so we're not necessarily going to get into that too much unless anybody has any specific thoughts about it. Obviously we saw EC3, Eric Young, Heath Slater, and then the Good Brothers. The Good Brothers, of course, announced their decision last Saturday at midnight. A few new notes from the pay-per-view. Slammiversary 2020 smashed Impact's record for single-day total impressions, which was from Slammiversary of 2018, nearly doubling the previous record by 97%. Leading the day was the exclusive midnight video announcement of the Good Brothers, which quickly became Impact Wrestling's best-performing tweet of all time. In Instagram engagement for Slammiversary 2020 saw a 172% increase in single-day total likes compared to their previous record. And during the month leading up to Slammiversary 2020, their YouTube channel saw total views rise by 26.5%. Total watch time grew by 32%. And the channel, which already ranks as number 2 most subscribed wrestling account on the platform, added over 100,000 new subscribers, marking a 20% rise in monthly subscriber rates. So yeah, you can listen to my review of the show, but really kind of coming out of it, and I watched Impact on Tuesday. We saw the Good Brothers there. We saw EC3 attack Moose. So it appears he may have his eyes on the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, which I'm still not totally sure I understand that whole thing. Heath Slater's still kind of in the mix. I think Impact has a really interesting opportunity to to capitalize on some newfound attention, because they were trending number 1 worldwide during Slammiversary. I know I saw a lot more people talking about Impact on social media between Saturday, Tuesday, and even now a couple days later. This is an interesting opportunity for them. The product it still feels very different. And I know they don't do any sort of fans in the crowd, but the way that they have the room and the building mic'd, it feels so much more dead quiet than even the empty WWE Performance Center did. But I'm intrigued to see where they go with a lot of things. I will definitely be tuning in next week. Ryan, have you paid much attention to what Impact's been doing this week?
Jim, do we do a wrestling podcast? Of course I paid attention to what Impact was doing. How could you not? Yeah, I don't know. I love that the Motor City Machine Guns are back.
Yeah.
I love that they got a tag championship. I think they are one of the most underrated duos in professional wrestling, Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin. I think you can look back at even their early TNA X Division days and really see what they had going for there. I thought Slammiversary was a great show, top to bottom. I think it had some great big guys, Moose, Tommy Dreamer, the women, I think.
Dude, that Moose Dreamer match was garbage.
I'm just saying they're just different flavors.
Okay, yeah, they featured
very, very different
right,
flavors.
but the match sucked.
Those two, you had the women's match. You had Chris Bay. The Deonna Purrazzo was a bit of a surprise to me. But all in all, I think it was a great weekend for Impact Wrestling. I think the carryover on a Tuesday was really good for them. I hope it continues next week and for the next few months. You can't make a living off of former WWE guys, but it was nice to see some homegrown talent, Eric Young, EC3, kind of back in the
right. That was something that I highlighted even on Twitter on Saturday, because I saw a lot of people going they're just bringing in these ex-WWE guys, and I'm like, okay, Eric Young, all of them technically, their last place of employment was the WWE, but to me, EC3 was a TNA Impact guy in the WWE. Eric Young,
Yep.
same thing. Like the Good Brothers, like that. We're not talking about Festus and Carl Anderson. We're we're
Right.
talking about guys that made their name elsewhere. Like they're not. They're
They're
not.
Japan boys.
Yeah, like they're not. They're not guys that made their names in the WWE. So it's like, yeah, technically they're ex WWE guys, but like I think it's unfair to all of them, EC3 and Eric Young, Gallows and Anderson. It's I think it's unfair to label them. Deonna Purrazzo the same way. Like she was in NXT for a cup of coffee. Like people don't know her. Like I mean, there's people that know her because she was in NXT, but like that to me, that's not why she's known.
She was a KPW vixen long before
Both
that.
of them. We saw that match was old hat to us. We've seen that match live years ago. Which also that match is on my list of top matches of the year. I'll tell you that right now. That match was fantastic. If there's one match you want to go back and watch from Slammiversary, Knockouts Championship. It was that good. Tim, any thoughts from the Impact weekend that was?
Impact has this way of snatching life from the jaws of death. They've survived more TV changes. Paul Heyman's wishing that he ran a promotion in the 2000s instead of the 90s, because he'd have had all of the destinations that he could land on. America, Puerto Rico, Indochina, Axis. Like, it doesn't matter. They got it all. But can they string it together? Can they make something of this? Because right now, I mean, one of WWE's biggest problems is the fact that this COVID era, they're not putting out interesting, fresh content. I'm curious if they can use, if Impact can use what was once WWE's and prove that those talents can carry a program. It was good to see that Brian Myers is a part of the group now.
Oh yeah, forgot about that from Tuesday.
EC3 debuting as well, or re-debuting. I'm curious to see where other talents are still going to end up. I know there's hotly contested No Way Jose still running around, so I don't know if Impact's going to try to get him.
No way. No way.
The Assumption or the Ascension.
The
they're
Assumption
still around somewhere. Yeah. I assume they're still wrestling. So, either way, like, I need Impact to give me more than just one pay-per-view. They need to string it together and really make something of this. Because right now they got the momentum. Like,
sure.
The ball's in their court. Obviously, whoever's got Impact right now has the pocketbooks to make some of these deals happen. And if these are exclusive deals or if these are just deals where they can still go and work indies, I mean, that's to be seen. But
I mean, I know the Good Brothers are still going to work Japan. Whether they work indies, I don't know. But yeah, that's it. That's an interesting point. Matt, any thoughts to Impact?
No, I mean, just kind of echoing what was said. I mean, let's see what they do from here. I think there's constantly that thing with Impact is, Slammiversary is typically not a bad show. But then the rest of the year, just the interest wanes, and then you get to the point where you're like, oh, it's time for Slammiversary again. Like we joked on the last show, if they could do like a recap of
the last year.
Yeah, if you missed the last Slammiversary and the 364 days that followed it, here's everything that you missed. So I think Impact has always kind of had a very strong women's division. So I think that's something that they could really use as what's going to set them apart, because, we've seen the WWE use women the wrong way, like Nick mentioned earlier. I mean, there's a ton of talent that's just not utilized. And that's always kind of been Impact's strong point. So if they can take that momentum from this show and kind of put those two things together and just generate more appeal, I think that this could be something that, could lead to, being a bigger company that, it's not like a joke like, hey, did you see Impact this week? And, didn't. So I think they have the opportunity here. Let's just see what they do with it.
Nick.
I'm going to say something that's going to shock a lot of people. I've been watching Impact a lot lately. I'm not just an AEW mark that people think that I am. I watch pretty much just about every promotion I can get my hands on. The lead up to Slammiversary was a stroke of marketing genius by Impact Wrestling. Let's be honest. The way that they marketed, who could possibly show up at Slammiversary with all the pictures of all the released wrestlers, and you knew some were going to show up, you just didn't know who, was absolute genius. And then bringing back Eric Young as the surprise fifth entrant into the main event. Deonna Purrazzo and Jordynne Grace putting up a banger of a women's championship match. EC3 at the very end of the episode with his new moniker and stuff like that. Then him showing up on Tuesday, taking out Moose. Even though technically he's not signed, again, the stroke of genius. The Motor City Machine Guns, glad to see them back. But the Good Brothers, getting their due, and they are exclusive to both Impact and NJPW. They can work both. Don't expect to see them on the indies. And the wrestling was that damn good. I was entertained by Slammiversary. I have actually been entertained by Impact on Tuesday nights the last few months. And don't forget, you still have guys like Sami Callihan, Ace Austin, Madman Fulton, Trey Miguel, the Rascals. They have some really, really talented wrestlers, and they've been using their roster really, really well. They're showing how to use a roster in an empty arena better than the guys down in the Performance Center. I'm not going to lie. They have a plan. They stick to it. And if it ain't working, they kill it. It's not like, let's just keep trying to force something down their throats so they can finally like it. No, they don't work like that. Now, when it comes to TV ratings, you're on Access. Not many people have Access. But people can stream on Twitch. People can stream, Access TV elsewhere. So they do have an audience. The numbers that they got for Slammiversary were insane. They were. And I think the numbers for this Tuesday night belly the fact that Slammiversary was a huge success for them.
Oh, absolutely.
Everybody said it best, though. Momentum, momentum, momentum. They need to keep the momentum to the next pay-per-view, which I think is Lockdown.
Yeah, I think in September, I believe. It's either late September, early October. And that's the thing.
So
like for me. Really oh, go ahead, Tim.
So I saw I didn't see the pay-per-view. I apologize.
That's fine. You were traveling.
I couldn't get it past all the hotel porn that was there.
It's all right. It's a common problem.
Yeah. But either way, the Good Brothers came out after Eddie Edwards won the Impact Championship.
Correct.
Does it seem like they're going to be packaged together? Because if so, that's really interesting to me.
I don't think so, because what ended up happening, it's going to be the Good Brothers' first feud. It's going to be with Ace Austin and Madman Fulton.
Okay.
Eddie Edwards is going to be going into a feud with Eric Young to start with.
Yeah, I think it was more coincidence. It was just more that it came down to Ace and Eddie to end the match, and the immediately when he pulls the card out. And the Good Brothers have been teasing, the aces and eights thing. You're starting to wonder, like, maybe Ace Austin is the new is a new hand in Aces and Eights, in a newly formed Aces and Eights, and I think that was the kind of the tie-in at the end, and then the Good Brothers attacked Ace, so I think that I don't think that we're going to see a pairing there. But yeah, Impact has tons of momentum, and for me, like, obviously WWE is always the it starts at Raw. Always watch Raw, then it's sometimes SmackDown. I catch the Wednesday Night Wars. Can Impact hold my attention? They're going to bring me back in next week. I already know that. It's that's always been the challenge for them. They're always there. And like they're never going away. Like, how many times, even in the 6 years we've done this show, how many times have we speculated the end of Impact or TNA? And they stay. So they're going to be there. It's how much are they going to get the attention? Now, in terms of the other talent, because obviously, that there was a lot of speculation on who's going to show up, who's going to be there. Aiden English, obviously Hawkins, Brian Myers ended up there on Tuesday. Premio and Epico, Eric Rowan, Kurt Angle, Leo Rush, the Canellises, No Way Jose, Rusev, Zack Ryder. Sarah Logan was one of the releases, obviously with her now being pregnant. She's probably not going to end up in any wrestling situation anytime soon. We'll start with Ryan. We'll kind of go around again. Is there a talent that that didn't appear this week that you're interested to see where they end up and where do you think they will end up?
It's a great question, Jim. I'm so glad you brought it up tonight, and I don't have anything written down because I didn't get the notes before the show. But being a professional that I am, I saw that Leo Rush, Facebook friends with him. I'm a big deal. I love Leo Rush. Is taking indie bookings again, looking to work. I think he'd be a great asset to the X division. Don't think it's going to happen. I'd love to see when things get going again with the Ring of Honor, Mike Kanellis, dropping the Kanellis, going back to Ring of Honor where he belongs, where he can be a big fish in a much, much smaller pond, and reignite his career in Ring of Honor.
Didn't they actually sign with Ring of Honor?
Well, I know they did. I know they did like a Ring of Honor podcast, which to me kind of tips their hand a bit. But I don't think they've officially signed anywhere.
I didn't hear that they officially did either. No. Real quick before I hand off to anybody else, Impact Wrestling, 18 years. It's finally able to vote. Been around for 18 years. WCW gone at 13.
Yeah, Charlie had posted in the comments here that they've been around longer than WCW.
Yeah, 5 years longer.
Tim, who are you most excited about, and where do you think they end up?
I'm really looking forward to whenever Rusev shows up somewhere. I don't care where. Especially if there's going to be this partnership between New Japan and TNA. I don't know if there's going to be one or if it's just the Good Brothers. New Japan's partnered with a U.S. promotion before. They've done it with Ring of Honor. They could probably do it with Impact.
Probably could.
They've had some ties with GFW as well.
That's right. That was a thing.
Jeff Jarrett was a part of the Bullet Club for about a cup of coffee.
That's right.
And
we were photographers for them once.
Yeah. I think Rusev going to, if there is a partnership between Impact and New Japan down the road, I can see Rusev going to Impact. But if not, then I really want him to go to AEW. Just because AEW needs some like grown men on the roster. Like there's a whole bunch of dudes like between 5'8" and 5'11" who just look like they ride bicycles for a living. There's not that many big wrestlers over there. So sending Rusev over and
maybe when the Boar finally gets his TNT championship opportunity, maybe then
Hey,
Rusev will be a big man.
We got close with Eddie Kingston last night. That was a joy.
And what a
That was
match.
awesome.
What a goddamn fucking segment that was. Matt.
Rusev is 6 foot, by the way. You're acting like Rusev is some giant. He's only 6 foot tall.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
that's a
he's
foot taller
carved
than
out of
every
granite.
wrestler in AEW.
That's a good point. He's the giant in ACW.
Adam Cole's also billed at 6 foot too, and then stand him next to Zack Sabre Jr., who's also 6 foot tall.
I mean,
and then tell me that they look eye to eye.
I mean, like
Yeah, Zack Saber's tall.
let's be fair too. Like Heath Slater looked huge in that Impact ring. Like Gallows looked like a fucking giant in that ring. Like, you know, and I'm not you know, belittling or begrudging or anything, you know, little guys. I'm not. But, you know, Rusev, who was average sized in the WWE, that's a big man everywhere else. Like Gallows, who is a big man in the WWE, that's a giant everywhere else. Like it is what it is. And I mean, most other companies, I think AEW included, are using smaller rings too. So all of these guys are going to look bigger than you remembered the last time you saw them. Matt and Tim, I don't even need to answer this question because everything you said about my boy Rusev is exactly what I was thinking. Matt, your thoughts. Who are you most interested to see and where?
I'm most interested to see where Zack Ryder ends up, Matt Cardona, whatever he goes by. Whether that's Impact or AEW, I think he could fit in either place rather well. What he does on those cards, I don't know, but I think he would just kind of slide right into probably the similar role he was doing in WWE and just being, you know, that guy for either company. So just to see who ends up getting Zack Ryder's talents, just so we can make sure we get that pay-per-view so Jim can see him win a ladder match. That's all I really care about.
And Nick, how about you?
I echo Matt's thoughts completely. Matt Cardona, actually see him going to AEW. I really think that, you know, he could carve out a really good niche over there. And Rusev, you know, I would love to see him in AEW, but I can actually see him sign with Impact because, you know, the way Impact has been running the business lately, you know, you can never have too many hosses, as they say. So you got Moose, you're gonna have Gallows, you have Fulton, you add Rusev into that mix. You got yourself a pretty follow Bob. You got yourself a pretty damn good Haas division going.
Damn right. Am
I wrong in thinking, and it's a shame where it's at in its progression, but Rusev would be an absolute star in NWA. Like it's
NWA,
just that. I would just love to see it with the flags. I mean, it just in my mind works.
No, I agree, and I mean, Billy Corgan has said that they are not going away, but they are also per Bad News Barrett, they are not going to be running during the COVID era. So, can they reignite with a new kind of office leadership whenever we get out of this? Can they reignite that fire that started when they kicked off? That's going to be the real question. Like, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed what they were doing, but can they recapture it?
See, the problem though is they already lost Ricky Starks, who I thought was going to be a main player in NWA. He ended up signing AEW. Last night we saw Eddie Kingston, the best damn guy on the mic, bar none, you know, show up at AEW. Would not be surprised if he signs with them. You know, Zicky Dice, their NWA television champion, he left. He left right now. Looks like he's going to be signing with Ring of Honor, last I heard. So you're talking about three main guys who they were building their roster around that Upton left.
Oh, Cabana.
So,
yeah, Cabanjo. He gone. Yeah, and I mean, therein lies the problem with not running shows. I don't discredit them for it, But therein lies the problem is guys, if they can find and there are companies that want them, then they're going to find places to work. So therein lies the problem for the NWA. But Matt Cardona, Zack Ryder, I think absolutely fits best in AEW because, as we've discussed for a long time, AEW is the sports entertainment alternative to WWE sports entertainment. Matt Cardona is a sports entertainer. I think he would thrive there and be just fine. Absolutely. I mean, you don't keep a job with the WWE for as long as he did if you're not good. I know I shit on him, but you're not gonna stay and be featured in multiple ways if you're not good enough.
Man got a Funko Pop made for him. I mean, he's got to be good. There's only one exception to that rule, and that's Eva Marie.
I was just about to catch you in that one. I was ready.